Arc browser had so much potential, but now it might be the time to move on. At first, Arc felt like the future of web browsing, minimalist, fast, and completely different from Chrome. But after months of using it, I started noticing some real problems, and it seems like I'm not the only one. So, is Arc officially dead? And more importantly, is there actually a better alternative? Well, I think I found it. A new browser that takes everything Arc did right, fixes what it did wrong, and actually feels like an upgrade. So today I'm breaking down why I switched from Arc to Zen Browser, the key differences, and whether you should make the switch too. Let's dive in. So what made Arc browser so unique? And in my opinion, this is the sidebar tab navigation here on the left, which you can, by the way, also hide if you click on this button. And right now we have this really sleek animation here on the left of the sidebar and where the tabs actually appear. Now the next thing the Arc browser actually introduced is the split view functionality in the Chromium browser. So if you go here, for example, to your two tabs you want to split, you can simply hover one tab over the another, and this will create this split view window. Now, if you would hide this, for example, the sidebar on the left, you would have really nice and simple, minimal two websites on each of the sides. However, you could also change this layout to something completely different, like the horizontal view. So if you would go here on the right and click on this split view options, you can see here how many of the options are actually here. For example, you could even add one another split, or you can change this to the vertical split view. And right now you have one tab on top of each other. Now, if you want to separate both of the tabs, you can go back here to the sidebar, right click on them and click here on separate all tabs. And now you have one tab for itself and the other as well. Now, the next thing which made Arc so unique is the minimal design. You have here really nicely curved edges. We have this blur behind the tabs, and you can also see here that we have pinned tabs as well as the extensions. Overall, really nice design. However, you could also change it. For example, if you go here under the view and show the toolbar, and right now you will have this URL bar on top of each tab. Now, Arc also implemented some custom icons, so you could also change its icon based on your preference. And the other thing which made Arc so unique is the easels and the folders. So if you go here to the new easel, you can, for example, here type in whatever, and here you can see that you can, for example, write or draw something, and this will act as your notepad just in the browser. And this is, by the way, really nicely implemented inside the Arc browser. Now, the biggest problems with the Arc browser. Now, the first major problem is the RAM and the high power usage, at least on the MacBooks. If I go here to the Arc and click on About Arc, you can see that the Arc browser is indeed running on Chromium engine. This is the major problem for the Arc browser because the Chromium browsers are actually using way more power than the Safari, for example, which is a native app from Apple. Now, Safari runs on WebKit, but the Chromium browsers like Arc, Edge, Chrome, even Vivaldi are known to use more power and RAM on your MacBook. Some of the users reported the high power usage of the Arc browser, and right now many are actually switching to other browsers as well. Now, the next issue with the Arc browser is steep learning curve. Many of the users before switching to the Arc browser have been used to the tabs on top of the browser, not on the left like the Arc actually introduced. I think that the tabs on the left are way better than the one on top of the browser. And once you go with the tabs on the left, I think it's really hard to go back to the previous option of the tabs on the top of the web browser. Now, our browser also has lack of customization. You can only have this sidebar here on the left, and you can also potentially just show the toolbar as well, as I mentioned before. And you can also change the color here by clicking on Edit Theme Color, and that is about it. Now, you can also install some of the extensions for the Chromium browsers, like I have here, like iCloud Passwords, uBlock Origin, and this is pretty much it for the Arc browser. However, the browser which I'm going to mention in this video blows this customization out of the water, and this is the Zen browser. As you can see, it looks very, very similar to the Arc browser itself, and you can also download it on all of the platforms, Windows, Linux, and even Mac OS. OS. Arc Browser is, by the way, only available on Windows and macOS operating system. However, you can also download it on Android as well as on the iOS. But Zen is available on desktop operating systems, Windows, Linux, and even Mac OS. And you can see here that it looks very, very similar to the Arc Browser itself, but I think it has some of the customization features which I think are very, very cool. For example, you can also hide the sidebar right here, and you can just hover over with the mouse over the left edge, and you will have this sidebar here on the left. Now, the next thing is that you can even change the position of the sidebar to the right side of the screen. So if you prefer it that way, you can simply right click here and click here on the tabs on the right. And right now you can see here that you have tabs on the right if you prefer it that way. Now here on top, you can also see some of the extensions. So you can pretty much download uBlock Origin, Privacy Badger, iCloud Passwords, which is really, really handy. And this is a brand new extension released right now for the Firefox users. And you can also download it on the Firefox extension store. Now, the Zen browser is also open source, so you can easily see every single piece of code on GitHub. And it also added the split view functionality from the Arc browser. And right now, let me just show you how simple it actually works. Now, here I have one tab selected. If I hold down the command key and select the other tab, you can right click here and click here on split to tabs. And now you can see that this is very similar look to the Arc browser itself. And you can also go here and click on this option in the sidebar, and you will see here that you have this really nice preview of the split view options. For example, you can go with the vertical mode, which is this one. You can go with horizontal, which is the same as Arc offers. And you can also click here to split every single tab to its own tab. And here's where it also gets very, very interesting. If you go here to the Zen browser and click on the settings, you can go here under the look and feel option. And this is where it's really, really interesting, because here I have option selected single toolbar. However, you can also go here with multiple toolbars, and this is what this actually looks like. I have compact mode here enabled. So we have here hidden the top bar as well as the sidebar here on the left. However, if I disable this right now, you can see how beautiful the browser actually looks. But the feature which is the most similar, or the layout, is this one with the single toolbar. Now there's another option which is called collapsed toolbar. And now you will see only the icons of the tabs here on the left on the sidebar, as well as the link of the website you are currently on here on top of the screen, which I think looks very, very nice. Now you can also change the colors here. And if you right click here on the sidebar, you can also click here on change theme colors, and you can pretty much pick whatever color you prefer here. And here I have 4 colors selected, and change, for example, the contrast, the texture. Overall, really nice customization from the Zen browser theme. Now, another really cool feature which came quite recently to the Zen browser. Here I am on the version 1.7.6b, and the really cool feature is if you click here on the command T, you will see here the search with Google. Now, this is very similar to the Arc browser. If you click here on command T, this will open the search or enter the URL. In the regular browsers like Chrome, if you click on command T, this will open a brand new tab. But in Arc, as well as in the Zen browser right here, we have this search window which appears immediately. Now, one thing which I am actually missing from the Arc browser is this one right here. When you click, for example, on command T and click on, for example, YouTube, you can click on tab on the keyboard, and now you can even search inside the YouTube platform. So I hope that this feature is actually coming very, very soon. Now, should you switch to the Zen browser? And the simple answer is yes. I think you should definitely give it a try and decide it how you will use it, with the sidebar here on the left, or maybe even here on the right, and even the all compact modes or the different styles it actually offers. Now, one important thing is to mention is that actually Josh Miller, who is the founder of the browser company, actually introduced in 2024 that they will be stepping away from the Arc browser itself. So there's no more any of the major upgrades or updates to the Arc browser with new features. Just here and there are some of the Chromium updates to fix some security issues, and that is pretty much it. Now, the Zen browser, on the other hand, is open source and it's quite actively maintained on the GitHub page. You can see here latest commits last week, 2 hours ago, 1 hour ago, and the releases are quite frequent as well. I should also quickly mention that the Zen browser has 2 builds. One is in beta and the other is Twilight build, which is kind of nightly build, where you have some of the preview features which are coming in the beta release. And if you are into that, you can simply download this version of the Zen browser as well. Now, I think that the Zen browser is totally worth trying. Please let me know in the comment section if you would give Zen browser a try. And this one is built the same as the Firefox. So on the Firefox engine, I believe it's called Gecko, and the Arc browser is built on Chromium. With each platform comes a few pluses as well as some minuses. So if you don't mind the Firefox engine, then you should definitely give Zen browser a try. So with that said, I think this is pretty much it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys haven't already, make sure that you smash up the like button and subscribe to the channel as well. And if you guys need a brand new wallpaper, I will leave its link in the video description below so you guys can check them out as well. Have an amazing rest of your day and I will see you all around in the next video. Peace.